Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel here. The cold is starting to get beaten back a little bit already. It's a little bit warmer here tonight already. Yeah, it's like -7 or something. That's an improvement for Wells, British Columbia. I'm Joey Only reporting here in the BC interior, up high here in the Caribou Mountains where I live. I'm one of the highest people in BC here at 3,135 feet above sea level in town. All right here. Beautiful Wells. Winter everywhere. Lots of winter stories to talk about. We got a big bomb cyclone nor'easter going on the East Coast. Yeah, we got severe weather outbreak going on in the United States. That includes tornadoes and blizzards and all kinds of stuff like that. We have, extreme cold through much of Western Canada, but that is getting pushed eastward. And here in BC, we have off the Pacific coast a series of very strong storms coming at us. Although I think this high pressure dominant in the Pacific Ocean is going to steer most of them up towards Alaska, so we will see how much we get. But we'll get a warm up from it nonetheless. That's the bad weather. The Bad News Show here on YouTube channel. Hit like, share, subscribe. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on. Wow. I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. And there is a lot to talk about. All over Canada right now. We got extreme cold going on through. I love how Manitoba has like 50,000 municipalities, so that when they have like an extreme cold warning, they don't just say extreme cold for Manitoba. It's just every one of these municipalities has to get listed. And there you go. It was BC as like the Caribou. The Caribou would comprise of like 6 of these put together probably, but there you go. It just goes on forever. So extreme cold everywhere in Manitoba. We have in Newfoundland the bomb cyclone making wind, rainfall at the Bay of Exploits, wind. We got winter storm warning for Burgeo Ramia. We have winter storm watch for Cartwright, and winter storms, Northwest Territories, extreme cold, and Nova Scotia, bomb cyclone, Ontario, snow squall, still lake effect snow coming off until you go further north. You got the extreme cold coming in up there, labeled extreme cold. So we'll try our best to dissect all this. Prince Edward Island even, Quebec even, getting bomb cyclone, blizzard warning even at, can't say it, Raglan Lake. Another way you could say it that way, I guess. Extreme cold through Saskatchewan and all its 1,000 municipalities. Blizzards on the Dempster Highway, extreme cold. Wow, a lot to talk about. These extreme cold warnings up in some parts of the Yukon going up to -50, down to -50. Could improve by Sunday afternoon. You will get the moderation from these Pacific storms that are going to start slamming up into Alaska very soon. But for now, you still are stuck with the extreme cold. 60, 80 kilometer an hour blowing wind up on the Dempster Highway. Frostbite conditions there. That is going on for you. Of course, most people who live up there are well aware of this. But for the rest of Canada, -50s for sure. If you take a look over in parts of the Northwest Territories, we're looking at -50s there. Yep, just near outside Yellowknife, we're looking, -50. Very multi-day episode of very cold wind chills are going on there. Wow. We do have all over southern Manitoba, -40 possible wind chill values for you guys. It's very deathly. This should see an end to this by Sunday morning, though, so that's good. It's very concerning for everybody who people live in substandard housing, people live on the street, people have to work. This is very, very cold, dangerous temperatures in Northern Ontario, same thing as well. Blowing snow advisory up along the Hudson Bay coastline in Ontario there. 80 kilometer an hour snowfall is also part of that, 10 to 15 centimeters. We have all these warnings still going on in Ontario. Snow squall warnings, 15 to 30 centimeters in places. These have been going on for days, 20 to 40 centimeters. Like, I would like to know what it looks like there. It must be absolutely buried, so buried. I'm going to head on over and talk a little bit about our bomb cyclone quickly here and just have a poke at a few of these warnings. What's really cool is because people have been supporting this channel, I've been able to upgrade my software. My software I now have that I'm going to be making videos with. This is the first time I've tried to make a forecast with it. I've been using my old software till now, which I'm still freely using. I'm not using the professional version anymore of it. Wind warnings there for you guys. Nova Scotia, out towards Frankie there, big time wind. You're going to see waves just pounding on the beaches there at 90 kilometer an hour winds, things like that. So part of what the software I have offers as well is commercially available images and music that I can use to throw into things like this when I want to talk about winter storm warnings like we have here for, well, areas like we could see 110-kilometer-hour winds in Burgio to Ramilla, 100-kilometer-hour in Port El Basque and vicinity, 10 to 15 centimeters of snow with that in there. And now I can intersperse some footage at times, and I can throw in free music that comes with the program too. It gives you access to all these things as a creator. So it's a really good program for me. I think it's a big time upgrade from VideoPad, which I've been using for years, and I want to make better and better content for you, and that's how we're going to do it here. 120-kilometer-hour winds along the coast. So some major wind hitting with this nor'easter. This bomb cyclone is going to be just pounding in with hurricane force winds. It's saying up to 120. I'm sure we'll see higher than that, right? So this depends on the eventual track of the storm, who's going to get hit, how hard, and where. Winter storm warnings, so that'll be on the northwest side of this storm when it does come up to 25 centimeters in the higher terrain. So we have coastal flooding warnings because these strong winds are going to be making for wave heights up to 6 to 8 meters upon breaking on the shore for eastern Newfoundland, especially along northeast facing shorelines. So that could be going on. The first high tide at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Second high tide will be at 10 p.m. on Sunday. So they got large waves and pounding surf, producing higher than normal water levels along coastal areas from Fairyland to White Bay, especially near high tides on Sunday. These large waves can cause coastal erosion in vulnerable areas as well as damage to infrastructure along the shoreline, especially at locations that have been prone to impacts during similar events in the past. So this is a real deal storm, very serious thing going on, and we'll do our best here in the forecast to look at a little bit what's going on everywhere tonight. That's kind of my goal, and maybe tomorrow we'll have a better look at BC for the work week coming. But I thought let's have a look at everything going on for a night. We'll rewind 12 hours in the satellite and look at what's going on. Just a little bit more sunlight out there now, just a little bit more sunlight, even a little bit reaching into the Yukon at parts of the day, the northern. So it happens quickly there. It happens quickly, the change. Even I've noticed that there's some light in the horizon, or it's still a little bit dusk-like at 5 o'clock, and that's a big difference from just a couple weeks ago when 20 after 4, it was like pretty dark outside here. So it happens quickly for us. Here's a look at everything going on, and we'll turn off visible mode now, and you get the picture of this is what happened today, and not what's going to happen, but it's what happened today. So we switch over to the infrared mode and see things that human eye can't see. How tall are the clouds? How cold are they? Things like that. So strong storm hitting into, Europe, northern Europe, into parts of France and the United Kingdom and places like that. So that's one story going on. As you go across the ocean, you can see a little bit of a trough here that this next disturbance might follow and redevelop another thing into there. Here's our bomb cyclone on the east coast showing up, growing rapidly through today and now beginning to make its landfall tonight, showing some of those conditions now into Newfoundland and Nova Scotia and places on the east coast. We have this cold air spilling down to the United States. That's now combining with some moisture and making for some blizzard and blowing snow and snowstorms and things to the United States. I think we're going to see a severe weather outbreak in terms of thunderstorms and tornadoes on Sunday. So we'll check in on that as we go. We'll watch where this extreme cold's going. So we'll have a look at the big picture. See, in BC, we're going to watch how the extreme cold gets beaten back. And we have a series of successive lows out in the ocean. You can see everything's like one big pot. The atmosphere is kind of like a liquid in a sense. It's like you stir the pot and watch how everything kind of moves. You watch the currents and the flows, and that's a big part of trying to understand where weather's going to go and what's going to do, how it's going to organize, how it's going to develop. And one thing I've been noticing is we have this large high pressure block sitting there off of the California coast like it likes to do, but it's going to be connecting up because we're getting this nice January outflow of very cold weather coming down into the central of the continent, and it's going to kind of link up with this a little bit and try to steer a lot of these storms that are going to form. Some very strong storms are going to form here, up into Alaska. That's going to beat back the temperature for them for sure. The Yukon's going to see a positive change, and BC's going to see a positive change, and everybody in the Western Canada is going to see a positive change from that. But if we're just looking at where new snow is in, say, the next 24 hours, We're looking maybe a little bit in BC, a little bit along the coast. You can see a large winter storm outbreak moving across parts of the United States, making its way into, say, Pennsylvania eventually and out towards the coast. So we're going to be watching for a large snowstorm coming through there. I think on the bottom side of that's where we're going to see our severe weather. And then you can see quite a bit of snow and things being thrown into Newfoundland from this bomb cyclone. It's going to produce, things are going to wrap back around. So you're going to see some of this weather coming in from the other direction, more or less, but that's still the same flow of the same storm. Sometimes you have to realize that when you're standing, in a given location, and the wind may be coming at you from this direction if you're on the north side of the storm, maybe coming right from you from the east, but the storm itself is, not moving that direction necessarily. So the direction of the wind and the direction that the weather is moving are two different things. So we're watching a large winter outbreak, then a secondary storm event probable in the United States. So over this next week, we're going to see a lot of areas take snow that haven't this year so far. BC's got some coming to it, and we will look at that in the coming week for sure, especially tomorrow. We'll come back with a forecast tomorrow specifically for BC for the work week. But big-time snowfall totals looking at Newfoundland, 113 centimeters. Big-time snowfall totals down West Virginia, 66 centimeters in the mountains there. So big-time snow expected. Now, this is over the next 2 weeks. These forecasts can change. Even seeing snow down into Mexico, 22 centimeters. So a large winter outbreak is going on. That's the picture I'm trying to paint. And that brings us to tonight where our bomb cyclone is going off, making its way down, 961 now. So that dropped rapidly over the last 24 hours and is continuing to drop still tonight. Most likely, I'm sure soon it will bottom out. Flurries through BC. You can see a strong storm starting into the United States on Sunday, right? That low is getting very organized there. I'll just click this rain thing off. That low is getting very organized. You're seeing a very strong thunderstorm outbreak starting, and we'll just pause here and we'll zoom in for a second on a couple of these things. So here's a large atmospheric river coming out around towards Newfoundland. Lots of lightning out there, lots of wicked weather if you are out on the ocean. I'm sure ships will be getting just hammered out on the Atlantic, like so often they do. We're going to zoom in on the United States and have a look at where our severe weather potential is for Sunday, right? Some of these areas, Arkansas, Louisiana, looking at some very, very strong thunderstorms. We have had some tornado outbreaks already this last week or so down there. Mississippi probably seeing some strong thunderstorms. What we have through Kentucky and Missouri. You can always tell Kentucky because it's this flat guy here. Through Missouri, got that freezing rain, really, really pounding storm. And this is going to move east across like we saw in that diagram, move eastward across. So you see major winter storm outbreak in the United States going on Sunday. Major storm going on in the east coast of Canada on Sunday. Major Arctic weather outbreak. Moving cold air still, although you're probably going to get out of warning criteria, still quite cold at 9 a.m. on Sunday. That was all just by 9 a.m. on Sunday where things are at. You can see some of this cold air is going to try to really make its way eastward. So our friends in Ontario and Quebec looking at seeing their coldest temperatures they've seen yet so far this year. That reminds me what our temperature is like right now. We're seeing 28s in places, 34 in Brandon, Manitoba. I'm sorry, Justin. If you live in Manitoba, my friend Justin, who comes on the Meteorological Report, has started his own YouTube channel for Weather Center of Manitoba. So make sure you subscribe to that. I know they got over 100 now, and I'm one of them. And we will see more of him on the Meteorological Report, I'm sure. They're taking a lesson from Joey and decided some minus 40 up there reporting right now. Taking a lesson from Joey and decided to get multimedia. Mayo Airport still minus 42 there, so that's not temperatures for tomorrow. That's what's reporting right now. What's reporting right now for wind? I know it's a little bit confusing because I've jumped forward here, but right now we got ship reporting 76 kilometers an hour out there, 100 kilometer an hour wind on a ship reporting off the coast of Newfoundland. So that is some major waves those guys are probably hitting right now. So that's by Sunday, watching a major storm series of storms, possible severe storms, possible tornadoes, and things like that down through those lower United States areas, the Gulf states. Going to be seeing a lot of that. So we have that really warm flow of moisture coming up. We have that cold, cold Arctic air reaching all the way down and behind it, right? That's feeding this low pressure system. That low pressure system is making for, a line of thunderstorms along the comma of it, the tail, more or less, right? That will benefit from having both these warm and moist environments and cool and dry environments coming together. So that's the recipes for thunderstorms that you very much see. Was very, very cold in BC, but it has started to warm up most certainly. And, just what are we sitting at right now? Just for example, here in the province, people are looking at 0 down in Kamloops, 13s up in Mackenzie, still 28 at Fort Nelson. They're still pretty cold up there, but a little bit of improvement, and we'll see more of that improvement over the next coming days or so. By Monday, here we have the large series of low pressure systems out in the Pacific Ocean. And this high pressure system wants to steer them right up towards, up towards Alaska. Finally, our storms are starting to subside a little bit in the United States by Monday morning. A little bit of snow in the backside still, but I think the worst of it is coming to them on Sunday. And this guy will move off. Look at that. He quickly intensifies as soon as it hits the ocean. And that's probably going to be the next story. So we've had a kind of a train of storms for them in Atlantic Canada as well. And this is more or less sort of the pattern. It's like you watch how these things move their way across the continent. So this looks like a really, really positive signal for an atmospheric river on Monday, heading up towards Alaska Panhandle. So I expect to see some really, really heavy precipitation totals in the mountains up through there. But it looks like unless you're in the very, very northern part of BC, you're probably not going to see much of that itself. South is looking kind of spared for now, but we're seeing the benefit of the temperature change, and you're going to see suddenly by, Tuesday overnight, you're going to see the temperature warming up through the night, even not getting colder through the night, warming up through the night in Fort Nelson. So they're going to actually get up to well above 0 this week. And I'm sure they're pretty happy to hear that because, it's been very, very cold for them. So there's that atmospheric river. It will make its way along the BC coast, but, it remains to be seen yet how extensive, doesn't seem so far like I have a big BC story to tell you yet. We do have some snowfall coming. Some of that looks like it could be pretty strong. We're just going to be watching where the atmospheric river goes. And I think tomorrow I'll probably have a real opinion on what we're going to see here, how that high is going to move around and basically block a lot of that these lows from coming in. I think this one's going to try to make a break up to Alaska as well. So, we're not seeing storms pound directly into BC, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're not seeing some of the effects of these larger coastal systems that are going on. So there you go. Here's our next storm out in the East Coast. That's the same guy I was just pointing at, right? Boom, there he goes. There he goes. Off he goes Tuesday. And by Wednesday, she's a full-blown bastard out there. Not just kind of looking at where things are at, all in all, he's seeing like storm after storm after storm coming up to BC, but they seem to want to avoid us, be deflected by this high pressure zone. That's going to lead to very stormy conditions for Alaska. And next round for the Atlantic Canada coming to you midweek. So some exciting stuff out there going on right now. And I am so stoked. It's always good to have lots of weather to talk about, isn't it? Always really wonderful. Where are our temperatures going this week? So, we were looking back and we saw that it was going to warm up in Fort Nelson. See, this cold air is now sitting in Northern Ontario. Going to be quite bitter up there. Big time warm up, like I said, was coming, is still on the board. Exactly timing of it seems to be more or less playing out as we thought. Very, very cold air down in the United States. That'll help make for snowstorms and things like that they've been having, but that starts to clear out more or less a little bit by the time we get through next week. So they see a rebound in their temperatures finally a little bit too. Kind of. But this cold air is out there. It's reaching around. It's playing around. It's January, and it's doing January things, I guess you could say. And that's more or less the stories we're watching for the next week. A little bit of a rebound in temperatures in the United States, a little bit of a rebound in Western Canada. Manitoba sitting on the verge. Northern Ontario sitting on the verge. Definitely more winter storms and more things coming towards Eastern Canada. You seem to be the ones that are really taking the bad weather right now. It seems to be your turn for the last little while. We've been really hammered in BC for a while. It's going to warm up for us a little bit, but I think we need a lot more precip. We need a lot more snow. We need a lot more everything. So I hope you enjoyed the extra little clips I threw in. I think I'll avoid putting music or anything else in there. Just try to keep this short, get it on the editing board now quickly so we can get this out and get everyone watching. But I just wanted to say thanks to a lot of people who've been helping me in lots of different ways here. Today, my friend Lana showed up, and like my friend Dale, brought me a care package, and we sat and had coffee. It was a really wonderful talk, and it's good. I feel really stocked around the house right now. Those things really matter to me. I also had lots of you help donate to the channel over the last month or so. You know, people like new Patreon member Jennifer. We have Mary Jane and Joanne Beaulieu and Christine Ann Laurier, Lauer and Barbara Vincent. Sorry, I'm trying my best with my bad eyes. Emma Felton. Some of you who've chipped in to help the channel here. If you're a channel member, you can come watch my new film that I have up right now that's premiering right now called Cut Off Creek. Shelley Cameron, Krista Vera, Gerda Rasmus, people who've been supporting the channel over the last while. Neil Nicholson, Lisa, who's a new Patreon member. Thank you very much. And Ann Sabados. All of you. Some of you I've already thanked before, but nonetheless, Linda and Ceedie. Really, really appreciate all of you. Auntie Joan and Patrick Mott, Patreon members. Two to go. Derek Antoine, Frigon, love you, buddy, and Tom Steele, and Maria Lupins, and Christine Fairbairn, and Shelley Entner. You're the ones that have helped me pay for when I use all the different. I have so many different apps now, including Radar Scope that costs like $150 a year. This editing software I have is expensive, but it's all trying to make a better and better channel, so a better experience for you guys, a better experience for me as the channel guy, So we're growing together. Thank you very much, and we're getting there. We're getting better slowly, taking nice steps this, and I hope this is the year that I can say, wow, we hit 10,000 subscribers, and maybe I'm not living in luxury, but I can be your Caribou Weather dude. So hey, goodbye to everybody if you're out there, and it was really wonderful being in Quesnel last night. I was hoping to bump into my children, but didn't see them there. If you're watching, kids, Dad loves you very much. I really want to see you, and that'll happen very, very soon. I promise you that. Also, I noticed because the air was so cold, all the pulp mills were throwing out lots of exhaust. The water vapor was hitting the cold air and just immediately condensing, so making clouds immediately instead of going invisible into the air. It immediately was seen, and so you can see that effect all the time. And even with that lake effect snow going on in Ontario, you get that kind of picture of the moisture getting pulled out of the warm water there, and then immediately it can't stay in the air, and it moves on and becomes a snowfall in southern Ontario and things like that. So you see all these effects of how cold weather needs warm weather and moisture to interact somehow in order to make all these bad weather stories happen. Okay, that's the show for today. We'll talk to you next time, everybody. Bye now.